Thank you. Turns out my video was off. Also, I'm going to turn the volume back up on here on iRacing. Don't mind me. You get to watch all the behind the scenes fun stuff. Looks like so far we got Jamie LaRock riding first, passed up by Chris Smith already. Mind you, everybody's pretty much doing their first lap out right now. First lap's always going to be slightly slower than the second. And again, as I said before, when you guys couldn't hear me, welcome to the CRL Dash at Daytona. CRL Truck Series is brought to you by Ghost Athletics, also sponsored by Grant Designs. The CRL Dash at Daytona is brought to you tonight by the CRL Podcast. New episodes every Friday, new episodes weekly, available on Spotify and YouTube. If you haven't checked it out, please do. It's a good time. It's a good listen. I like to listen to it while I'm sitting at work, working on cars, and listen to some of the guys I race with on Wednesday nights. Talk a bunch of smack about how I'm going to end up in the wall. So let's see. We got two open drivers tonight. Open driver is the 28 of Matt Dyer and the 46 of Bradley Miner. There is two open spots available for every race, so essentially those two will both be locked in no matter what the time is. We've got a couple shakeups in the teams, a couple shakeups in the drivers. New addition to Alloy Motorsports would be David Bersicki. Looks like we got Charles Van Schack. He might message me afterwards and tell me I messed it up. But number 23 of Charlie V. Let's see, we got in S&B Motorsports. Looks like Jacob Dudley in the 13. Otherwise, we are rocking and rolling here in qualifying. Judson Curtis breaking himself into the top 5. That is also my Wednesday night teammate for Alloy Motorsports, so big shout out to Judson there in the top 5. Jordan Trask sitting second. Another one of my Alloy teammates on Wednesday nights, so hate to be biased up here in the booth, but teammates are teammates, and no matter what nobody tells you, it's a team sport out here. Looks like we only got a couple more cars to qualify. Number 32 is on track right now. And number 32 might also be an open driver. I'll have to double check into that after the race just to verify. $51,598. Looks like that's going to put him right about 26th place. Bradley Miner upgraded to a 51,516. That'll put him right about 19th place. Look at that, same exact lap as Bryson Clark. Then Frederick Garcia and David Bersicki both have a 51,511. It's always interesting to see the matching laps in qualifying. Look, Joe Spinelli and Steve Gerber off by 0.001 second. Also separated Jeremy Moore, 74.001 second. That's the great thing about CRL is, you know, there's so many different levels and skill levels of these drivers. But especially in qualifying, especially at a super speedway, it's hard to tell where you're going to end up. You know, Zachary Peterson's out on track with 52.015. Looks like he's Ricky Harden is taking his out lap right now. We're gonna see him get up to speed. Number 19 of Jacob Grant. That is our guy for a lot of these paint schemes. That is Mr. Grant Designs right there. Definitely, if you have any needs for your iRacing paint schemes, I can assure you, he does all mine. That's the guy you want. He does probably 80%, 90% of the league paints, and everything he does, he just knocks it out the park. 51.443. Looks like he's going to put himself immediately up in the top 10. That puts himself right there in the top 5. And I think he's going to even try to improve on that a little bit. We're going to see what he gets. It's hard to qualify at Daytona. You know, you got to glue it to that yellow line, but give yourself just enough space that you can still carry speed through that corner. See how he's about a foot off of that yellow paint? That's right about where you want to be. You don't want to be too far down, because if you just barely catch the bottom of that yellow paint and dip your tires down there, it'll loosen your truck up real bad, and you'll scrub a little speed off your qualifying run. Second lap wasn't no better, but it looks like he's, for now, locked into third place. And you really can't ask for much better than that. Ricky Harden back out, starting his first lap now, or just finished his first lap, 52.089. He's going to try to build some speed on that lap and see what he can pull out for this second lap out here. And only a minute and a half left in qualifying, so I can't imagine that anybody that hasn't qualified yet would even have the opportunity to get a lap. If you're not already on the track, you know, if you're not already pulling down the backstretch on your out lap, you're not even going to get a lap in at this point. Big track, 2.5 mile track. It takes a long time to get around this thing. Now in the race, you're going to see these times significantly drop down to the 46s, 47s, 45s, possibly even. It'll be, you know, it'll be a lot of different things depending on fuel mileage and how the tires are wearing. See how he dips right under that yellow, trying to lock in the fastest possible time he can. Now there is no rule against going under the yellow in qualifying. During the race, that is strictly forbidden. But in qualifying, you can absolutely use that apron to try to scrub a little bit of time off. Looks like Ricky Harden, another one of my Alloy teammates, locked himself in 19th there. Don't think too many other people are going to qualify, so it looks like we got just a short amount of time till we start going green. Go ahead and give a congratulations to our front row. Michael Hayes and Eric Anderson, followed by Jacob Grant, Evan Kinney, Matt Dyer, Parker Collins, Zachary Peterson, Judson Curtis, and Kyle Payne to round out the top 10. Following the top 10, we got Justin Carey in 11th, Crank Bell in 12th, Dusty Martin, Tyler Honeycutt, Joshua Autis, Jeremy Moore, Joe Spinelli. Joe Spinelli's feeling good tonight. Steve Gerber, Ricky Harden in 19th, and Frederick Garcia in 20th. Round out the top 20. Starting in 21st, you got David Bursicki, Bryson Clark, Bradley Miner, Bob Stevens, Chris Smith in 25th, Jamie LaRock in 26th, Dustin Bumgardner in 27th, Abram Ghost in 28th, Bradley Murphy 29th, and Caleb Smith, who was previously in the booth last season, returned into the racing, which I can imagine don't take much motivation. Once you watch all this good racing long enough, it makes you want to jump right back to it. He did race in the truck league beforehand. Yes, sir, I am getting practice. Get up for it. Sounds like a plan to me, Joe. Looking forward to it, buddy. Bunch of drivers didn't qualify, including the previous, well, I guess the back-to-back champion, the number 91 of Ross Tatum. Ross Tatum is the league's first ever back-to-back champion and the newest CRL Hall of Fame member for being the first ever back-to-back champion. Congratulations to our front row. We're going to go green here quite shortly. So I'm going to cut all that out. We're going to watch us some race. See if I can get in here so I can hop back into talking to these folks. And just so we're all clear, I'm not working a bunch of the camera angles and stuff. I'll be honest, I put the camera angle on the preset that iRacing has just on most exciting. We're going to probably catch up with whatever accidents may happen. We're going to catch up on anything of the nature. And we're going to get to getting. I need to adjust the sound in my headphones so that I'm not just listening to my cars just go crazy in my ear. I think tonight, I think tonight really you're going to see a lot of people pushing hard. Um, it's a dash. It's not the first official race of the season. You're really just looking. This race is going to set up the starting grid for the very first race of the season next week. No different than the duel at Daytona in NASCAR. So we got pace car getting ready to come off the track here, and we're going to go green here shortly. Again, this dash is brought to you by the CRL Podcast. We are green flag. Looks like Michael Hayes got himself out to a little bit of a run. Jordan Trash getting a little bit of push there, giving a little bit of push to Bob Stevens. Not a whole bunch of shake up in the back. And I think they're going to try to form that inside line and try to drive away as best they can. A lot of times, if you can go green flag, the trucks are almost naturally going to separate into two different packs. And if you're not in that lead pack, then you're definitely going to have an issue. You got Joshua Altis a little bit up the track, 45 a little bit on that yellow line, followed by Joe Spinelli. There's Dusty Martin, last season's Dash and Daytona winner. The last 2 season, Longshot Motorsports has actually swept the Dash and the first race of the season at Daytona. Season 21, it was Crank Bell, and last season it was Dusty Martin. Looks like Dusty Martin's got a fan watching. Real good side by side. A couple of these guys hanging in the back. More than likely just minding their own, just waiting to see if something's going to happen, waiting to see how aggressive people are going to push. You don't have to be right up there in the front of these races. You just got to be up front at the end. We do only have 40 laps tonight, being as that it is the Dash at Daytona, not the full length race. That outside line's losing a little bit of momentum. Once they can, it's real hard to, if you see all the swerving that they're doing, it's real hard to keep it in a straight line. You know, you gotta trust where the guy in front of you is on the track. And that's what you're seeing when they kind of drift up in a line, is you're seeing the reaction times behind each driver. As one driver cuts in, you know, you get right nose to tail on somebody. You really, you know, you can see it here. You really can't see anything in front of that driver in front of you. And once you get locked in like that, the first driver goes into the corner, the next driver goes in a split second later, and they all kind of gradually move off that yellow line around that corner. Just like you're seeing there with the number 21 coming about midway up the track, 35 going about midway up the track. And also a lot of it's going to have to do with clean air. These trucks, right about 280 degrees, they're going to start getting hot. And the last thing you want is for your truck to get hot, especially this early in the race. Truck gets hot and you have an engine failure. You'll see them pull off to the left side. You see them pull off to the left side, that's going to be them cooling down their water temperature. If you see them pull out to the right side, they're going to be cooling down the oil temperature. All the water components are located on the left side of the car, the driver's side of the car anyway, and all the oil components are located on the right side of the car. So if you're trying to cool off your oil, you drift off to the right a little bit, try to get some clean air on that right front of your nose. You know, if you watch, you won't see a lot of people bump drafting too much in the trucks. Believe it or not, it's actually faster to, instead of bump drafting, you know, nose to tail, bumper to bumper, it's actually a little bit faster to just get that air right between them and push that air to push that truck. And that outside line's starting to come to form out front. We got just about nose to nose there in the front of the field. Looks like Evan Kinney's officially taking the race lead, but Bob Stevens right there on him. I'm sorry, it's not Bob Stevens, it's Eric Anderson. My mistake, I'm mixing up numbers over here. Eric Anderson leading that outside line, followed by Jordan Trask. Uh, Jordan Trask, one of the Alloy teammates of mine, easily one of the standout drivers. Got himself into the playoffs last season. For a second, I thought he was making a move to that outside. Didn't look like he was starting to make that move. Looks like he just kind of drifted up the track a little bit. You don't see too much shifting going on. And again, it's still early. It's 6 laps in. You're not going to see a whole bunch of shifting and shaking and moving too much. Once you get about 20 laps in, 20 laps to go, you're going to really see these guys start pushing to the front. Possibly even see that third line open up. The good thing about CRL is with that third line, you're not too scared to run these guys 3 wide because you understand that everybody around you is a great driver. You understand that everybody around you is held to a certain standard of driving. It's not called the Clean Racing League for nothing. My partner Joe's in here in the Discord talking to everybody. Oh, we got a little bit of 3 wide running. I don't think it's intentionally up there at the front. But we do got we got trouble. The 96. The 96 is upside down. We got the 77 going into pits. 32 is involved. 81's involved. Oh my goodness. Who wasn't involved at this point? I hate to break it up like this, but we are definitely going to go in here and try to get some of that replayed over here. And unfortunately, you guys get to watch all the replay mixes because I don't know the controls that well yet. So if you look up at this 96, it looks like Joshua Altis giving him a little bit of push right there off the corner. And he came down. Let me see if I can take a look at Joshua Altis's cockpit view, or at least the far chase view. We'll take a look at the far chase view and just see if we can't catch what happened. That 96, that's going to be Zachary Peterson for SMB Motorsports. It looked like he just got a little off center, tried to jump back in line. When he tried to jump back in line, he definitely wasn't all the way cleared. He got put up on his roof. Now with on the roof, man, that is unfortunately that's not where you want to be. 96 upside down there. I'm interested to see what happened between Joe and Frederick down here. Looked like Frederick might have come down a little bit. Either that or the 89. The 89, who's that going to be? The 89 is Bryson Clark. Nah, oh yeah, Frederick was a little off center. He decided to go inside, and Bryson Clark was still kind of pushing up a little bit. I doubt he saw the wreck, and he just caught Joe Spinelli. Oh, big hit in that wall to Frederick Garcia. That is that's not what you want, unfortunately. We got just about everybody coming down pit road now. I can't imagine you wouldn't. You're going to go down pit road, you're going to fill up your fuel, you're going to get 4 fresh tires, and you're going to keep moving. Anybody that can keep moving anyway. Man, that is just unfortunate. Especially this early into the race. See what our running order coming off pit road is here shortly. I don't believe there's a single car that stayed out. I'm certain that some people got to go in there and fix some damage. Looked like average time on and off pit road about 25, 28 seconds. Evan Kenny had a slow pit, 28 seconds on pit road, same as Parker Collins had a slow pit, 28 seconds in pit road. So that's more than likely, yeah, it's going to lose him a couple spots. Looks like Evan Kenny probably lost about 3 spots on pit road. Now, I did tell anybody if they'd be interested in hopping in the broadcast booth to go ahead and hop in the interview room. I'll bring them in the broadcast booth. We can talk after the wreck. I can't imagine the 96 is still going to be on track, but it's also not a requirement for them to come talk to me. Looks like Evan Kenny going back down pit road. Maybe a pass-through penalty here. And come out with Crank Bell in the lead. Crank Bell, Michael Hayes, Jacob Grant, Parker Collins, Dusty Martin, Eric Anderson, Bradley Murphy, Judson Curtis, Caleb Smith, and Evan Kenny will round out your top 10. I believe Evan Kenny went down to the pits, so that'll put Jeremy Moore in the top 10. Jordan Trask still up there, right behind the top 10. Don't think he got caught up in any of them. Might have just had a slow stop going on pit road or got caught up in the mix afterwards. A lot of cars coming back off pit road now. A lot of people probably made a second stop. You know, if you can't get all that damage sorted out in the first pit stop, this track's big enough. You go back into pits, you still get another 30, 40 seconds that you can go back in and get some of that damage repair. Especially these super speedways, you want the cleanest truck you can get. You know, in the draft, you can have a little bit of damage and still hang out in the draft and still, especially you get somebody behind you, somebody in front of you, somebody pushing, somebody pulling, that air is just going to carry you through no matter how much damage you got, depending on how much damage you got. But, you know, if you want to be out front leading, you got to have a clean truck. And looks like number 24 and the 14 definitely got a clean truck. Jacob Grant right there in third place, though. Dusty Martin, last year's winner, sitting right there in 5th place. Definitely going to watch for that. Going back, green flag. Somewhat slow start. Decent push on that outside from the 87. But he's got to get the 43 to catch up to him, or that's help. Yep. That 24 cuts down, takes that inside line. Now the 87's not as much hung out to dry, but he's going to, whether he wants to or not, he's going to end up backing up to that 43. He's going to try to side draft off the inside line to minimalize backing up. But that really, when that lead car on the outside dives down, it'll back up that outside line about 3-4 car lengths. Jake Grant going to the outside. He's going to try to work his way towards the front here. So the inside line, you got High Five Racing, Michael Hayes and Jacob Grant, followed by Dusty Martin from Michael Hayes and Ross Tatum and Dusty Martin. So you got one High Five guy and 2 long shot guys. The benefit for number 24 right now is he's got a teammate on that outside line, leading that outside line, wearing that. More than likely, Jacob Grant's not going to let him fall off. If, for whatever reason, he slips up, does get hung out to dry, he's at least got a teammate right there to pick him up. And you can see all these cars with the damage just struggling to stay inside that draft. And it's real unfortunate for Joe, his contact with Fred Garcia, man. I talked to Joe before the race, and he was ready for tonight, man. He was raring for it. He's ready to stop hitting the barrels and start hitting the burnouts, if you know what I mean. Everybody's just getting set in. Looks like even that rear pack's kind of catching the front pack just a touch. But you figure between the top four, there's literally only a tenth of a second difference between Michael Hayes and Dusty Martin. Same thing with Jacob Grant. Only a tenth of a second gap between them. You know, Jacob's going to need some help, though, if he wants to push that outside line. He's got a good help with Judson Curtis right there behind him. That outside line, just, the farther back you go in that line, you see them drifting up slightly closer and slightly closer to the wall. Then they all get real tight in the middle of the straightaway, and unfortunately, it's just not a good way to be fast. But it's almost unavoidable. You gotta know where you're at in the track and trust where your guys in front of you is. And when he turns in, you got to turn in. You got less than a tenth of a second to do so because you're doing about 180 miles an hour. Michael Hayes got wide open in front of him. He's just cruising, hoping to just get steady pushes. You don't want really too much pushing in this at Daytona, especially in the corners or really in that tri-oval. They're getting a little tricky on that outside line. If they get that outside line tightened up, they do got the speed and they do got the drivers that they can make a hell of a push to the front. And just about that whole pack's all tightened up now. See, we got 23 laps to go. Now's when you're going to start seeing people really showing some more aggression, especially the people all the way in the back. Their clock's ticking. They know it's go time. They know it's time to work their way to the front. Figure out how to get up front, who you're going to work with. If you can find your teammates, great. If you can't find your teammates, who are you going to find to work with to make it up the front? Little bit of movement there in the inside line. That inside line holding steady out there with Michael Hayes leading this race. You see the tail end of the field kind of falling off a little bit when they come around the corners. And that's just that natural separation. A lot of it's probably due to that damage that they're getting. It just takes just enough off the truck. But what you want to watch for is right there, how Crank Bell kind of pushes the 24 into the turn. He's could be trying to create space that he can make a move, but they don't quite have enough that they can make a move to the outside because the outside doesn't have enough momentum to give a push. Right now, Dusty Martin's not in the position that if the outside line had a push, he could slide up. Crank Bell, if the outside line had a real good push coming through a corner, Crank Bell would be the one that you'd want to watch to slide up there and jump in front of Jacob Grant. A lot of these guys in the back are just praying for a caution. they're praying for a caution. They can take it down pit road one more time, get 4 more tires, try to get that truck fixed a little bit, get that damage off, and make one more push in this last 20 laps. Coming to the halfway point right now, Jacob Grant slides to the inside, right in front of Eric Anderson. He's going to help push that inside line. Judson Curtis leading that outside line for now. But, you can catch any of these drivers on the inside line, really make a push. Looks like Judson's even going to go down to that inside line. They're going to try to make that stick and make that work. They might even just try to pull away from the pack at this point. If you're not on Jacob Grant's bumper at this point, that inside line, if they're 100% floored, they're going to take off. They're gone. Still a little movement there in the back, but for now that inside line's pretty much locked in. Oh, we got the 89. The 89 of Bryson Clark is leading that outside line, and looks like he's really going to try to make a push out there with the 93 truck. 93 truck, Rob Sherwood. Hell of a driver, hell of a competitor, fierce competitor. I've raced with Rob enough times to know that he don't want to wait to get out front. He wants to be out front of it. He don't want to wait for the accident to happen, to wait until after the caution to make it out front. He wants to be out front. If you're out front and you're in first, you're in that front row, you don't have to worry about the caution behind you. You don't have to worry about the wreck behind you. You don't have to worry about running into the wreck behind you. All you got to do is drive away from it. Looks like we're going to start catching some lap traffic now. Got Joe Spinelli. He's going to stay high on that outside. Yeah, it's just a courtesy. Let everybody by. And this is where you don't want to catch that lap traffic. It's coming off that corner. Joe, being the guy he is, man, he kind of slid his truck up there in the wall just to make sure he was out of the way of that outside line for him. Then you got 91, Ross Tatum, last season's champion. I didn't even see him catch the damage, but he's definitely going a lap down. Again, the worst possible place to catch lap traffic is in these corners, and they are finding a way to make it happen. Bryson Clark still trying to make something happen on that outside. Just so difficult. That inside line has so much momentum. They're moving well. They're moving really good. They're leaving enough space in the corners that they can continue to push up on each other in the straightaways. And that outside line, just see how that inside line is just uniform through the corner, and that outside line is just unfortunately everywhere. That's not where you want to be. Whether you're in front of it or behind it or in the middle of it, at this point you just want to be on that inside line and hope that a couple of these inside line guys in the front start breaking off. Looks like they're trying to make a third line. It's just not enough. There's not enough momentum in that third line to even start to push this inside line. We got a big push. Oh, big wreck in the back. And it looks, are we going to stay green? We're going to stay green for this one. But only 4 cars on that outside, and they're all sitting 3 wide. If they catch themselves uniform, they might have a chance to push up towards that front. Looks like 54, 28, 93, and 91 of Ross Tatum. Ross Tatum up there helping a teammate, Rob Sherwood, for SMB Motorsports. Trying to help his teammate push a little bit towards the front, looked like. Got 3 wide here in the front. Oh, a little bit of movement there on that middle line, the 28. That, unfortunately, that ain't never what you want to see. Matt Dyer there But, he's an open truck. Matt Dyer's out here, an open truck, sitting middle of 3 wide in the front of the pack at Daytona. You can't ask for much more as an open truck than be pushing that. It looks like most of these trucks are going to stick with that middle line. Ooh, a lot of movement there from the 54 truck. A lot of movement there from the 54 truck. That's Caleb Smith. First race back. First dash back from leaving the broadcast booth to get back behind the wheel. But even so, up there, sitting looks like about 4th place. Dusty Martin still up there. Just waiting for the opportunity, really. Number 2 truck up there. That's Mike Kelly. A couple of these guys are going to shift off to the inside. That's going to put that 28. Looks like he got just about no help until about the middle of that pack. That outside line could start to make a push here. Oh, and Sherwood dips to the inside. He's going to try to push that middle line right there. Matt Dyer, one of those cars that pitted on lap 10 instead of lap 9, so he's worked his way up all the way from the back of the pack in that back group, and now it looks like he's going to take this flag and lead himself a lap. If you're leading on that outside line, you're wheeling that truck. And he's just hoping he can get just clear enough that he can dive down to the inside. If it's 28 with the 16 behind him. They're locked in there. 3 wide in the front. Ross Tatum on the outside. Caleb Smith on the outside. Parker Collins on the outside. Those 3 trucks are trying to do something to just hang on to positions there. All this moving and shaking's got that inside line just shook up enough that people have left the line, gotten in the line. Man, it looks like they're just taking a parade lap at this point. As clean as they're running 3 wide, 3 rows back. You can't ask for better racing than that. Even 4 rows back, we got another 3 wide. Oh, a little bit of scratch off that wall. Ain't nothing serious. Gonna leave some paint on the wall. Creating jobs is what they're doing. And it looks like we got Bradley Murphy. What's going on, Bradley? Did you get caught up in that?
Yeah.
I didn't see you get caught up in there.
Yeah. Looks like Joshua, he got hooked up on the, I think it's Steve or somebody.
Yeah, I think it was the what is it, 80, 86, 96? Oh, it was Zach Peterson. Zach Peterson, 96.
Yeah, it was just unfortunately some bad luck.
Yeah, man, that started happening in the front, and then I seen Frederick Garcia and Joe Spinelli get into it a little bit down there, and Ross Tatum ended up with some damage. Where were you running at when you got caught up in it?
I was pretty close near the front. I think I was running like 13th around there.
Okay.
I'm just holding the inside line, hoping to avoid a crash, but it didn't work out too well.
Yeah, it's otherwise, how's the racing so far? How's everything feel? All the new drivers, everything like that, everything felt good so far?
Yeah, it felt pretty good. The new update, you got a little bit of a bubble with the on the back of these trucks that you had to break through, but once you're in, it's not too bad. A little bit more squirrely than usual, but it feels still pretty classic to what it was.
Yeah, it looks like It looks like there's less, bumper on bumper pushing, and a little bit more pushing that bubble, you know.
Hmm.
But if it
Yeah.
translates anything to, the real world, they'll pushing that bubbles with what makes the trucks a little bit faster than bumper on bumper in the trucks anyway.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
during practice, like it was like if you're just one on one with somebody, you're really only getting onto them really with the turns,
Hmm.
just because the bubble on that straight, and you're like you said, you're pushing that bubble, so they're running away from you a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, pushing that. It's hard to get up on somebody, and even before the update, it's hard to get up on somebody and apply too much pressure unless you got somebody pushing behind you. And if you're not the lead car, you really don't want somebody pushing behind you too much.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how these leaders do, because I was running close on fuel, even riding in the pack. Like I was only maybe 2 laps in the good,
I was gonna
and
say,
I was saving pretty hard.
what's fuel run look like? Because it looks like most of these guys pitted lap 9. A couple guys pitted lap 10. But
Yeah,
most of these guys all pitted lap 9. If I can
yeah,
remember
lap
correctly, the
nine.
fuel run was about 30 laps.
Yeah, lap 9, I was barely in the good pitting there, but being able like saving some fuel, I was getting good. But that's why I'm wondering about these leaders, because I don't think there's really any way if you were to hold it down for a while, I don't know if you're gonna make it.
Yeah, I mean, especially leading a race, it's hard to save fuel leading that line. You know,
Yeah,
if you got a teammate leading the other line, then it's a little bit easier to set the tone. But if you ain't got a teammate leading the other line, then you gotta at least keep your truck so that you're not a roadblock. And they are
yeah,
racing hard in the front. They're three wide, one, two, three, 4 lanes back, 5 lanes back.
yeah. Everybody's looking pretty hungry this season for sure.
Everybody's definitely hungry, man. Everybody's hungry, and it's a dash. It's not the official race yet, so
Hmm.
if there is a day to be a little bit more aggressive, like I was talking to a couple people before the race, if there is a day to be a little bit more aggressive, today's the day. You know.
Yeah,
All right, buddy. Thanks for stopping in, and
of course.
good luck in the first race, buddy.
It sounds like your commentating is pretty good.
I
I'm looking
appreciate you,
forward
buddy.
to seeing you in the booth and all that.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I look
All right,
forward to racing on Wednesdays.
all right. See you, man.
Later. All right. We got 5 coming to 4 laps to go. Still 3 wide. What, 1, 2, 3, 4? 4 rows back. These guys are getting real aggressive. Wouldn't be surprised to see a green white checkered here at this point. But like he was saying, these guys that pitted on lap 9, they got to find a way to save some fuel. And oh, good block by Jacob Grant, sliding up there in front of that number 2, Mike Kelly. He's going to get a little push from Mike Kelly and hold that out middle line. See if he can get enough momentum coming through this corner to slide down, get back in front of that 24. But again, it's going to be hard to save enough fuel that you're going to need to save to push the way that you're going to need to push as compared to, like Mike Kelly, who pitted on lap 10, go in that pits, either get that last little bit of damage fixed or get that little splash and go of fuel. You get that splash and go, you might be able to go that one extra lap. But that one extra lap at a super speedway can mean absolutely everything. If you're pushing at the front of the field, you know, it's different pulling somebody than it is pushing somebody. You're pushing somebody, you're getting pulled by their air, and you're getting somebody behind you to push. Like Crank Bell right now, probably able to save fuel. He's probably sitting right about 70% throttle because he's just riding right between 24 and 35. 70% throttle, you can gain yourself about 4 laps. Now we got 3 wide pack coming up on lap traffic. It'd be interesting to see how this navigates around the lap traffic. Looks like he's just going to cut down in the apron. Oh, we got some bumping back there in the middle. And we got a wreck. Yellow flag is out. And if you're Michael Hayes net 24. That is not what you wanted to see. We're going to go back and take a peek at that. Again, you guys get to watch all the fun stuff. Looks like Chris Smith might have got involved there. Let's take a look here and see if we can't see what happened to him. A little bit of bumping there. Oh man, the 45 car just came down, bumped him just right. Sends a whole shockwave through the field, and that's all she wrote for that one, unfortunately. 54 sideways, 68. Number 3, Ricky Harden, looked like he's going to make it around there. Looks like Jeremy Moore is not going to make it around that one. Justin Carey's lost a fender there. We're setting up for an interesting end of this race. I know that's for sure. Especially Michael Hayes leading this thing. We are setting up for one hell of a green-white checker to look like to me. You figure that top 5, that top 6, they were all unaffected. They were all just riding along. So you're going to have Jacob Grant. Looks like everybody's coming down pit road. This is what they all needed. I don't think any of them could have gotten through a green-white checkered on fuel. This is what everybody needed. They're going to come down. I doubt we're going to see many people get tires. We're more than likely going to see people quick in, splash, go, and get... Oh, trouble on pit road. Judson Curtis gets maxed by the 89 truck. Man, that throw off your whole day right there. Looked like potentially Jordan Trask came out towards the front of this thing. We're going to see when they get past that start-finish line. They'll get side by side, and we'll see the exact green flag running order. Man, you can't ask for nothing better than this. Green, white, checkered at the dash at Daytona. It don't get too much better. Might see some of these lap down cars go in there, but it looked like, you know, at least 1 or 2 of them are going to probably try to get their lap back here. We'll take a short break while they get this settled in and get your running order. All right, we got our running order. About halfway down the backstretch now. Jordan Trask sitting on the outside, and who's that on the inside there? David Bersicki. 2 Alloy Motorsports trucks on the front row in this thing. It's going to be interesting to see how they work together here. Looks like 2 Only Dads or Subscribers trucks on the second row. A couple high five racers and formidable racers right there on the outside row. You know, in the 24 and the Jacob Grant in the 19. Long shot racers, Crank Bell, Dusty Martin on the inside row. This is it's 3 different teams, 2, 2, and 2. 2 on the front row, 2 on the second row, 2 on the inside, 2 on the outside. Steve Gerber also on the outside and high five behind teammate Jacob Grant. It'll be one hell of a finish. Pace cars off the field. We're coming up to the restart zone. And we are green flag. If David Bersicki and Jordan Trask have enough fuel and can push this, the benefit to being teammates on the front row is you really get to set the tone. You get to set the tone for what these rows are going to do. And Jordan Trask goes to the inside. He's going to take that inside line. David Bersicki's going to get behind him and push with the 87 of Parker Collins still on the outside. We got some sliding in the back. Nope. Parker Collins going to really get hung out to dry there in the middle. If 24, Michael Hayes can come down enough, he can get in front of Jordan Trask there, but it don't look like... we got another wreck. Another big wreck. Ricky Harden, Dusty Martin. Looks like our last season winner more than likely will not repeat. And I don't know if these guys that didn't pit are going to have enough fuel for one more time. These boys are pushing hard here in this green-white checkered. This was a 40-lap race, and now we're going to go into 45 laps. Double overtime at the Dash at Daytona, brought to you by the CRL Podcast and our sponsors Ghost Athletics and Grant Designs. A lot of these beautiful trucks out here are products of Jacob Grant of Grant Designs. Let's take a minute here and go back and take a peek at what happened. We let them get sorted out. Looks like the 17 truck. We're going to go click on the 17 truck. Take a look. Seth Foudy. It looked like the 87 Parker Collins just kind of got into him a little bit. I'm watching from back here, but he had a good push from Crank Bell. And, that's hard to tell, man. Super speedway racing, really anything can happen. And unfortunately, just about everything you didn't want to happen did happen. What else we got in this? 54, Caleb Smith, Bradley Minor, Ricky Harden, Mike Kelly, Dusty Martin, and Abram Ghostin, and Evan Kinney, all involved in that one. Now's where we're going to see a lot of this change up here. Now's where we're going to see a lot of these guys. Michael Hayes and Jacob Grant still leading this thing. This is going to be the last green-white checkered. This thing's going to get real quite interesting. 19, the 24, and the 5. All teammates. 16, all teammates. High five at Formidable Motorsports. Locking in that whole top 4, possibly even top 5, depending on who's back there. 79. Looks like Jordan Trask still out there. I'm not sure how much fuel he's got, but he's got to be. If I know Jordan well enough, he's confident. If he feels confident, he's gonna get it. He's gonna get it. As long as he feels confident enough, he got the fuel in it. But it's gonna be hard working by these high five guys, especially you don't got no teammates around you. All right, your starting row is going to be Michael Hayes, Jacob Grant, Steve Gerber, Chris Smith, followed by Jordan Trask, Crank Bell on the outside, Mike Kelly on the inside. No, Mike Kelly on the outside, Evan Kinney on the inside, Rob Sherwood, and Caleb Smith round out the top 10. Jordan, the only car in the top 10 that has not pitted since lap 10. That's going to be an interesting one to watch there. Interesting to see how hard he's going to push. Crank Bells, he's a guy 2 seasons ago. He won not only the Dash, but he won the first race of the season at Daytona. Rob Sherwood up there. If you could bet on somebody being good to push you, you can bet on Rob Sherwood. Making sure he's going to finish as best as he can one way or another. If he's got to push you to finish good so that he can finish good, he's going to make that happen. And all of these guys, great super speedway racers. Jordan might be clutching in these turns, just trying to save as much fuel as he possibly can. We're going to have a 47 laps. Pace car is off the field. Here we go. The final green-white checkered. Coming up to the restart zone now. Green flag is out. Where's the pushing's going to be, and where's it going to come from, and who's it going to be the best? Joshua Alt is trying to make something happen on that outside line, trying to gain a couple more spots. Oh, big wreck up front. Huge wreck up front, and that's going to end that race. Oh my goodness, I don't know if there's a truck that didn't get involved. Wow. We're going to go right on ahead back and watch it. Goodness. Looks like 16. 16 was down a little bit. Jordan Trask tried to take advantage of the open spot, shoot the gap in the middle. 16 came back up the track and just caught Jacob Grant in the 19 in the right rear corner, and that's all she wrote. Even Michael Hayes got put around. Chris Smith involved. Crank Bell involved. Mike Kelly involved. 54 involved. That's Caleb Smith. Again, first race back into this. You know, at this rate, it was hard not to be involved. Joshua Altus, Evan Kinney, or Parker Collins involved. Looked like Eric Anderson got some scratches on his door. I believe they're going to come to the checker flag now, and once they come to this checker flag this time, there is no more green white checker. That is the end of that race. So it looks like your starting grid for the first week of the season. It's going to be Jacob Grant, Evan Kinney, Caleb Smith, Parker Collins, David Bersicki, newcomer to the league, uh, Dustin Bumgarner, Kyle Payne, Judson Curtis, Nathan Brown, and Joshua Autist round out the top 10. Congratulations, boys, and man, what a finish on that one. Let me see if I can't round up a couple of these guys and bring them in the booth, just see what happened there. Trying to find his... Man, what a finish that one. It's an unfortunate way to finish that one, but unfortunately that's how she goes. Jacob Grant, Evan Kinney, Caleb Smith. You can see it right there on the top of your screen. That's going to be your starting order for the first race of the season at Daytona next Monday night. We might even get a little burnout here for Jacob Grant. There he goes. Burn him down, Jacob. A couple of the alloy guys sitting there up front. Jacob Grant earned that one though, man. He was in the right spot all day. All right.
In front of me, so I don't think he was really out.
Hey, fellas.
Oh, hey there, Wayne.
What's going on? How about the end of that race?
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
That was I mean, you can't ask for much more excitement. But man, Caleb, why don't you start with me? Walk me through what happened from your perspective on that one.
Yeah, no, I mean we were coming to the last green white checkered, and there was a truck that said they were running out of fuel, so we didn't know where that truck was. Um,
Was that
but
the
mine was
was that Jordan Trask?
it was.
Okay.
And so but I wasn't gonna lift no matter what, so I uh I was getting ready I was behind Mike Kelly, and I was really hoping he'd make a move to the outside to make it 3 wide, and he did. And as soon as he did, that's kind of when everything kind of happened. And then next thing I know, Crank is in front of me sideways. Like I said, I wasn't gonna lift because at that point it's scoring you based on where you were in the wreck. So I was
Yeah.
just trying to get third or fourth wherever I was gonna finish.
I think he came out with the third place finish, right?
Correct, correct. So we'll be starting third next Monday night. So that's fun.
There you go, man.
First race back.
Yeah, first race back, finishing third, starting third in your first week of the season. You can't ask for much better than that, man.
Mm-mm.
Evan,
Yeah.
you were up front all day, buddy.
Yeah, it's part of the plan was to get up front and stay there. Yeah, that last restart was wild. I'm just watching the replay now. It looks like Trash pushed the 16 wide out of turn 2, and that got everybody 3 wide, and it was all over from there. And I'm gonna have to go talk to the NASCAR officials because I think I was ahead of Jacob when that caution came out.
Well, they you don't want the NASCAR officials doing it. They'll put Jordan Trask in the win.
You're probably right. Yeah, it was a fun night. Fun running up front. It was really fun running 3 wide for the majority of that middle stint there. So it just shows the skill of all these guys out there. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun watching everybody 3 wide. I think you guys were 3 wide, 5 rows back at one point. Definitely 4 rows back for a solid 3 to 4 laps in there. But for the most part, about 3 rows back, you guys were 3 wide, just nonstop, keeping it smooth. That's when even here in the booth, I was puckering a little bit, just just watching y'all. But it's like I'd said it earlier, is that's a testament to how clean this league is you can trust the guys around you to run 3 wide. You're not in iRacing official races where you got to worry about somebody you don't know on the outside or somebody you don't know on the inside getting loose. Is the benefit to working week to week with all the same guys is you can take that chance, take it 3 wide, and really possibly even benefit from it. And it looked like you did.
Yeah, I've had a case of the Hershey squirts all day today, and so when we were 3 wide, I really had to work to keep it in, but it was a lot of fun. And like I said, working with the same guys every week gives you a little bit more confidence doing it, and it's fun while it works.
Yeah, it's again, congratulations guys, and congratulations Caleb. I'm gonna see if I can track down Mr. Grant. See if I can get him over in here. Actually, if I can't pull him in, if one of y'all mind hopping in his chat real quick, just tell him we're looking
Yeah, I'll
for him
do it.
over here. Thank you, buddy. We're gonna wait a second, see if we can get Jacob in here. Run us through the last couple restarts on that. Jacob,
What is going on, my man?
congratulations, buddy. Congratulations. That was a hard fought win.
Yeah, we as high five drivers had one goal in mind, and that was to get out front and dominate. And we felt like we were doing that pretty well for the entire race. We had a couple of trucks jump up there and take the lead away from us, but we were able to get it back. And then there on that final restart, or on the green-white checkered, the first one, we were all stacked up on the outside, so we made it. There was 4 of us in a row, so we made it a plan to jump to the outside and get out front and lead. And all 4 of us got up to P1 through 4, and caution came out. So the goal from there was to just get a good start and try to keep us all out there. But unfortunately, some things happened there at the end, and it didn't happen that way. But I'm glad I got the win.
Yeah, man, that you were all of y'all guys and High Five and Formidable was definitely up there pushing most of that race. When on that last restart, I saw 4 out of the top 5 guys were all teammates. You had 4 out of the front 2 rows were all High Five guys. The inside line was 2 Alloy guys, and the outside line was 2 long shot guys, I believe, or no, 2 SMB guys.
Yeah.
And no matter 4 is always going to beat 2, right?
Yeah. You the more trucks you have in line, especially if you can all get going at the same time and stay nose to bumper, and the third guy is really what makes the line go. If that third guy can stay in line and be close to the second truck in line, and not touch him, he
Mm-hmm.
can keep that second trucking line up to the bumper of the front truck a lot better, and the airflow is a lot better, and you go a lot faster.
Yeah, I was talking to Bradley Murphy a little bit out after that first big accident about just pushing that bubble rather than pushing the truck in front of you, just kind of pushing that air pocket uh, rather than pushing the truck. And, you know, it seemed like there was a lot of that and a lot less bump drafting than you would see, in, say, a Cup car or something. But, man, it was a great race all around. Did a hell of a job, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And good luck next week starting on the pole.
Yep. Thank you.
Absolutely, boss. Again, that was the CRL Dash from Daytona, brought to you by the CRL Podcast. New episodes on Fridays. It's available on Spotify and YouTube. This is the CRL Truck Series brought to you by Ghost Athletics.